Hi everyone, my name is Rhonda Beckman from the Clever Corvid Art and Art Workshops. I'm going to share with you a few different lessons on cartooning. Cartooning is something that you can start doing at a very young age, and there's a lot of basic steps that you can use just using shapes and lines to actually create some really fun characters. I pulled out this piece of paper just to show you that cartooning is something that I've always done. I've always doodled on the sides of my notes whenever I had to take notes in school. And so cartooning is something that's a lot of fun for me. And I've taught lots of cartooning, so much that I literally have a file folder full of stuff I could share with you. We're just going to do a few things though, okay? Stuff that you can do at home with very simple tools such as pencils, pens, markers if you have them, and paper. Sound good? So go get yourself some paper and a pencil or a pen or a marker, and we're going to get started. Today we're going to be looking at geometric shapes. Geometric shapes are the very first shapes that you learn about when you're very young. Circles, squares, triangles, rectangles, hearts are considered geometric shapes, stars, ooh, that's a little bit crooked, and so forth. Geometric shapes are very orderly. They're usually equal on all sides and could be split in half. And if you were to fold it, it would fold perfectly. So it's considered symmetrical. Okay? So those are the kinds of shapes that we're going to be using today when we draw our cartoons. Sound good? Awesome. What I'd like you to do is take this piece of paper and either fold it or draw lines that divide it. I'm going to draw lines, and I'm just going to do it freehand. I'm going to start by drawing a line right down the center, and then I'm going to draw a line down the center this way. So I went vertically, and then I went horizontally. Now I'm going to break this into half. Like that. And like that. It's okay if they're not perfectly even, just as long as you have 8 spaces, okay? Now what I'd like you to do is in one column, come up with 4 different geometric shapes to draw in here, and don't draw them don't press really hard. So in the first one, I'm going to do an oval, because an oval is a geometric shape. Then I'm going to do a triangle. I'm not pressing too hard. I'm going to do a square. And, what should my last one be that's an interesting geometric shape? Maybe I will do a heart. Now on this side, I want you to use the same shape, but you have to put it on the page in a different position. So let me show you what I mean. So now my oval has to go on the page this way. I'm going to change my triangle so that it's flat on top instead of pointy on top. My square, doesn't matter which way you place it, it's going to look the same. So I think I'll have to put my square on an angle so it looks like a diamond. And I have to draw my heart upside down. Okay? Once you have that, you're ready for the next step. Now this is where I'm going to give you a challenge. We're going to start giving these shapes faces. But every single character that we create must have different facial features. So if you draw a certain kind of eyes on this one, you can't do it for any of the other ones. So before we start to fill this in and draw our cartoon characters, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about facial features. So, dots can simply become eyes, right? What happens if you take those dots and you add eyebrows? What if you change the angle of the eyebrows? Uh-oh, not looking too happy, is he or she? What about if you make the eyebrows that way? Oh no, suddenly they're very sad. Well, now they're confused. Isn't that interesting? I just drew 5 different types of lines, just with, 5 different types of eyes, just with dots and lines. Now we can expand from there. What if I decide to make my dots larger and put dots in between? What if I put them close together and I change the dots inside? What if I give them very shaggy eyebrows? What if I change that circle so that it's only half a circle? What if I change the circle so that it's this way instead? What if I change the circle and I change the insides of the circle too? And I just added eyelashes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different eyes already. What if I tried to make them look like human eyes that are shaped like an almond sometimes? What if I tried a different shape like, oh, that's starting to look like glasses, isn't it? I like that. There's so many different ways that we can create eyes. What if I make triangle eyes? Big oval eyes that look very scared. I can go on and on and on. Maybe before you start drawing your eyes in your character, you should play around with coming up with different ideas for eyes first. What about noses? In cartooning, you can use lots of different shapes for noses. Let's say we just use dots for eyes. Of course, you can make a triangle. But what if you add on to that triangle and you add some other lines to make it look like nostrils? What if you add the nostrils and then you add a mustache underneath it? What if you change that to a more rounded curve with a mustache? What if you make that rounded curve a little bit shorter? What if you make it a little bit more rectangular? I like that. Look at all the different expressions I've been able to make just with lines and noses. A button nose. What if I create almost like a snout. This is a lot of fun. What kinds of nose shapes can you make? Maybe look at your own nose and try to draw it like a cartoon. Now let's consider mouths. Of course, we can make a happy mouth. We can make a neutral mouth. We can make a sad mouth. I don't know what kind of mouth that would be. We can have a mouth that's open. Maybe we can see that person's tongue and their teeth. Maybe we can't see their tongue and we see all of their teeth, like they're really smiling wide. Maybe they're being silly and their tongue is sticking out. Maybe they're surprised. Maybe they have a sideways smile. Maybe they're yelling really loud. What kind of mouths can you make? Can they have very big lips with lots of lipstick on it? Maybe the shape of the mouth is different. So let's start there. Let's start by just adding eyes and noses and mouths to all of our shapes. There, do you see what I did there? I made 8 completely different sets of eyes. Well, that's not really a set. That's a cyclops. It just has one eye. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to adding different noses to every one of these characters. Do you see it? Every one of the noses is completely different. Now let's move on to adding mouths. This will be really fun. So far, these characters are looking pretty funny. I like them, but they're missing something. What is it that you think they're missing? You've guessed it. They need ears, and they need hair, and perhaps some accessories like a hat or a bow tie or a beard or a barrette in their hair. This is where you get to be creative And you can alter the shape of the face with the hair. Sometimes it can like cover up parts of the shape of the face, or you can work with the shape of the face to make it a little bit more interesting. So I'm going to start doodling in here now, and you can watch along, and we'll see what they look like when they're all finished. Ta-da! I have 8 very, very different characters, don't I? They all have different expressions. So always try to think about what kind of mood you want your character to have. You know that if they're happy, you want the mouth to go up. If they're sad, you want the mouth to go down, and you want the eyebrows to be angled that way, and maybe even the eyes. You can start playing with different kinds of teeth, and they don't even have to be people. You can start to make monsters and mythical characters and heroic characters and animals. This activity can go on and on and on. And just remember, we started with geometric shapes. So what geometric shapes did you end up using? How did you change their direction so that you got different characters? Did you make sure to use different eyes, different noses, and different mouths? Did you play with fun hairstyles or hats or bow ties and glasses? There's so many different choices for this assignment. And really, the world is your oyster. I want you to share your pictures with me. I'd love to see them. So you can take a photograph or a picture of your artwork, and you can send it to me on my Facebook page at the Clever Corvid Art and Art Workshops with Rhonda Beckman. Another way that you can send them to me is through email, and that's at theclevercorvid@outlook.com. I'm really looking forward to seeing what we can make together with this, because the next time we get together, we're going to figure out how we can add bodies to these just using shapes. See you then.